Welcome to All They Damn Mama. Had some hiccups. Been fighting this all day. Um, the enemy telling me not to even log on. Fighting that. Trying to get through everything else that I'm going through. So today's topic is so well needed. The truth about grief. I don't see anyone logged on now, so I'll wait a couple of minutes. But the chat is up. I don't know what's going on with the camera. I did a test run and it worked fine. Now it's not working, so I don't know. But I am logged on, and I'll wait a couple of minutes. I hope everyone had a very good and productive day today. If not, there's always tomorrow. We look forward to tomorrow. Praise God to see that it's fit for us to make it through. And if we do, wake up tomorrow with a different aspect. I see one somebody on. Can't see who it is, but thank you for joining. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Did a test run, it was working. However, the chat part is up, so we can take questions or you can propose a question. Make comments. Today's topic is the truth about grief. Death ain't just the body. It comes in relationships, dreams, desires, etc. Grief is basically, to me, it's an emotion um, that comes either before an incident, during an incident, or after an incident. It could come within a loss. It could come within a marriage. It could come within a friendship, relationship, peers at work, any desires that you feel like you wanted to accomplish but couldn't. So grief is an ugly monster in some aspects of our lives, and it really depends on the individual. To me, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist, but I can just go off of my own personal. It's how we handle it, and starting to handle that for me was allowing God to come into my life. I had to surrender. Okay, I see two people. If y'all could just hit the chat and let me know that y'all can hear me, I would greatly appreciate that. Okay. No one can hear me. Thank you, baby. Trying to decide if I want to go live on Facebook as well. I don't think I am though. I think I'll wait till the next show. But well, Miss Page, look like it's just me and you, girl. Do you have a question? And again, today's topic is the truth about grief. Death ain't just about a body. It can come in relationships, dreams, desires, etc. And I know you've had to face some challenges. We've all had to. Did I put what on? Yes, I did. I put it on Facebook that I was going live. But people are busy, and I do understand. Uh, if it's only one somebody here, I'm still gonna do what God gave me to do. So I don't need an audience. Your mama she's never been the one that needed a crowd. If nothing else, this is therapy for me, helping me talk, get some things out. I did. You think so, Paige? By me reaching my target? I heard you answer from the front room, but if you could put it in the chat. I hope so. Not only am I doing this to help myself, um, but I do believe that there's no one person with the pattern, not the pattern, the pattern for what grief means for everyone. Everyone handles grief differently. Um, for me, I used to be the type of person that and I still am, but therapy is helping me uh walk around and I carried a lot, you know. I would put me on the back burner. Whatever I was feeling or whatever I was going through, I would, put me behind everything and everyone else. But now I'm learning that if I'm not good to help anyone. And grief is one of the most human experiences there is. Um, it looks sometimes like this. It may be the same from person to person, or we may think it should look one way, but it doesn't. And I'm gonna give you an example. Um, I don't know. I've had a couple of friends, relatives that have lost children. I know what grief is. I've experienced grief. I don't know that type of grief. So I can never tell a person that has lost a child, I understand what you're going through because I don't. I don't understand that type of pain. I do understand pain. I do understand the pain of losing someone, but to me, there's levels of loss. There's levels of pain. And what I mean by that is I'm not going to grieve for someone that I may have just met at work maybe 2 years ago, the same way I would grieve for a relative. I would feel some type of loss, empathy, even have some sympathy for the person's family, but that doesn't compare to the grief level of losing a relative, someone that I was really close to. Like when I lost my mom, that took the breath out of me. I thought losing my grandmother was going to be one of the worst experiences I ever felt. And I used to wonder, my grandmother had 5 children, and I would look at each one of them, and even do still at times, and be like, what are they feeling? How do they feel without their mother being here? I know what it is for me not to have my grandmother, but their mother. They had their mother much more longer than she was my grandmother. I didn't understand that type of pain of losing a parent until I lost my mom. And when I lost my mom, I understood. It took the breath out of me, literally. And I took care of my mom. I watched my mom go through her battle. I watched her go from this vibrant woman, a woman of faith, to a woman that had just shriveled up and didn't even actually know. I don't believe she even knew what her faith was anymore. Her sickness won her. It won over her, whatever she felt. And I had to watch that. And that was painful. Painful watching her go through that and painful of losing her. When I lost my husband, that broke me. And it broke me because I hadn't fully grieved correctly for my mother. Because I felt like I had to be strong for everyone else. So I put me in the back. I want to make sure my daddy was good. I want to make sure her siblings, my mom's sister and her 3 brothers were good. I wanted to make sure her grandchildren were good. I wanted to make sure her great grandchildren were good. Her good friends, our family friends. I wanted to make sure everybody was good, but there was no one making sure that I was good. Yeah, I had, my kids would ask me, Mama, you okay? My daddy would ask me, my husband would ask me. But again, I would have to put on this front, like, yeah, I'm good, because I felt like if I broke, they would break, would break, excuse me. And with us losing people, with people in our lives, especially people that are close to us, you feel some type of you feel numb, and maybe even feel devastated. You know, the mourning of that person makes you know and realize that's the end of that relationship. And it was basically a job that we had, because this is something that we did daily. We got up daily. And it started from the time our eyes opened until they closed that same day. Our job was loving that individual. Now that that job is done, what do we do? When that version of love in our life has gone, what do we do? Where do we go? What do we say? How can we continue to walk um, in the direction of still being here for those that need us, but also dealing with our own self hurt and pain? Like for me, my grief comes in waves. Some people say it comes, they take grief day by day. For me, it's second for second. Honestly, with my husband not being here, it is second for second for me. Sometimes I don't know if I'm going or if I'm coming. But what I did decide to do when we lost him, I was gonna sit in it. Whatever feeling I had, whatever came up, whatever thought I had, whatever memory I had, I was going to sit in that. I was going to grieve my husband right at that moment. I don't care if I'm driving. I don't care if I'm singing. I don't care if I'm in the shower. I don't care if I'm in a store. I don't care if I'm in church. I don't care if I'm out eating with friends. I don't care if I'm at the movies. Whatever comes up when my husband enters my mind, which is 24/7, the memory of him, whatever feeling that I have at that moment, I am going to sit in that. I am going to experience that. I am going to let myself be what I need to be for me at that moment. That's part of my grief, part of my healing, part of my journey. Okay, Paige, you said when Brennis woke up, I told him Pop Pop was looking for him. And he went to my room. You told him that today? Because I know even now when he looks at my phone and he sees that picture of him, he'll kiss my phone. He's like, "Hey, Pop Pop." Oh, oh wow. Yeah, I know. And he was so young. Brennix is my grandson. He's just 2. But it's like he remembers him. Because Tony loved him. Oh my God, he loved Brennix. He loved all of our grandchildren. Brennix was the baby that was here in the house. So he spent a lot of more time with him and was able to see him more. Um, it's amazing what that baby remembers though. Tony taught Brennix how to whistle when he was like maybe 1, and he had stopped whistling for a while after Tony passed. And it's like now when this baby it's like he knows what I'm when I'm going through. He'll come through my door He'll be whistling. He'll get in my bed and just put his head on my shoulder. And I know that's just his pop out with him. I truly believe that when I cry out and I'm like, Lord, I need him. I need something from him. And it's like he comes in the form of my grandchildren, my grandson. It was just like when I was over in the DR and that young lady and her husband presented me with those flowers the day before me and Tony's 21st wedding anniversary. This was just last month. I don't know where. Say these were for you. And I knew those was from my husband. And she did that out of obedience. My husband, no, he never bought me roses because I don't know why. He just didn't. But I loved roses. And he gave them to me. And I was good after that. I wasn't sad anymore. I was able to smile and think about him. And that was a good thing. Um, but as I was stating, my grief, it comes in waves. It's like once I go over this wave, boom, here come another one. That's why I say second for me. It's not day for day. And those that say day for day, I can understand that as well. Because I experienced that in my life as well. Uh but for my husband, it's second for second with his loss. Um and all I can say is whatever that we're carrying, it's completely valid. No one can tell you how to grieve, when to grieve, where to grieve, question why you still grieving. Uh when are you gonna stop grieving? Why do you choose to grieve that way? That's nobody's place to tell you how to grieve your loss. Just because they didn't mean that much to them, that does not mean they didn't mean that much to you. I wish someone would tell me, your husband been gone almost 6 months. Don't you think it's time for you to start trying to carry on? That would be real ugly. Real ugly. You know, uh again, it's valid. Whatever you're feeling, it is valid. God has truly been my light. I lean and depend on God for it all. When I say for it all, I mean for it all. I don't care if it's just a simple drink of water. Uh, and it may sound real crazy and foolish, but hey, allow me to nourish myself with this without getting choked up, without crying, without not being able to remember how to swallow. I mean, it's the smallest thing, but I depend on him for it all, for my footsteps, uh, me getting dressed, me being able to drive my car up and down the street without, because sometimes my eyes is just full of water. I'm crying. I'm grieving. Lord, I need you. I don't know how I'm driving this vehicle. I know it's you, but I got my hand on the wheel. I don't know how I'm doing it, but I thank you, Lord. I do. I I I can't put into words what his loss did. It made me remember who I was, though. That I will say. It definitely made me remember who I was. And again, even if our grieving doesn't line up with our cultural script of things of what grief should look like, so what? Bump it. Who cares? You grieve and go through what you need to go through. And again, it's not even about the body. The body. It's gonna turn into dust and it's gonna go back up to our Father. That's it. But the grief of not having that person here It's the memories, it's the smell, it's the thoughts, it's the touch, it's songs that come on. It's dreams that y'all had together, things that you wanted to build and accomplish. It's watching your children grow up without their father. It's knowing that the grandchildren would never know that this person, uh what type of human being this person was, what type of gift God had given the world in this person. Grief goes a long way. Grief can come in forms of divorces. Cause I my first marriage, I had a first marriage. I grieved it like it was a death. I grieved it because it was like a death. It can come in forms of friendships, someone that you trusted and loved for so long, and then one little misunderstanding, somebody may have said something and you took it the wrong way. Well, that would be a misunderstanding, but you lose that friendship. I mean, I'm talking about years. You're gonna grieve that because that was something close to you. That was something that we treated as a job. We put work into those things. Hey, son, what's up? Thank you for joining me. Um, there's many types of grief, and none of them follow a neat or predictable path at all. Once we understand the different forms of grief, um, but once we understand different forms of grief, even in that, it won't make your grief disappear, but it can help us make sense of what we are experiencing and how to recognize when it might be time to reach out for support. And when I say support, our black community, we have this thing. I was talking to a friend today, and it was two things that you better not do in a black neighborhood, and which is crazy. Well, really three. Tell what was going on in your household, which is, I think, is crazy, because if something harmful is going on, tell it. Second thing is, you better not be gay, which is crazy, because I'm gonna love mine regardless. Uh, Number three, you going to see a who to talk about what? Are you crazy? Yeah, I'm crazy. I feel crazy. That's why I need to see a therapist. We have that bad in our community. We really do, and we need to get away from that, because grief leads to a lot of things, depression, and a lot of mental issues, and those things we don't want, should not want to be a part of in our day-to-day life. It's nothing wrong with reaching out, asking for help, wanting to talk um to someone, because grief is a natural response to loss. It's emotional, it's physical, it could be behavioral, meaning it can show up in all sorts of ways. It can come in sadness, anger, numbness. uh for me, I experience a lot of fatigue. For me, I'm up all night. When I say all night, I mean all night. I could take 2 or 3 Benadryls and I'm up. I'm fatigued. You know how people are saying now they have black fatigue? I have death fatigue. I do. I really do. It can also not only be a fatigue, it could change your appetite. Me, I feed mine. I feed my grief. I eat, which is not a good thing, but I'm just being open and honest, and that's what we can do here on this platform. We can be open and honest. Yeah, Paige, I know, baby. I do remember that's how your grief was. You would just sit up, yeah, be in the cold sweat. Yeah, I remember. But thank God, you did the work, you did the steps, and you made it through. And I'm thankful to God for that. I watched my friends, I watched relatives, I've had to watch my children grieve the loss of their father. Um, and that's the hardest thing for me. That's what's hard. is watching my babies, all 5 of them, not have Tony here. Mackie, she's the youngest. So what the older ones, what Taylor, Casey, and Paige experience, especially Casey, because that was her biological father and Mackie's biological father. But Tony adopted all of my children. Um, but Mackie, Jonathan, Paige, Taylor, and Casey. Um, Casey had him the longest. That was her biological father. And then my children came in. And then there was Mackie. But to watch them not have him, not experience him, that's one hurdle that I'm really trying to jump over and uh, and get through. The pain that they go through. My mother-in-law, I see it on her. Um, and that's not always a good thing. It's hard for me to watch her suffer because she had him longer than any of us did. Uh, but I did do realize there's no single normal way to grieve. How it shows up and how long it lasts, it really it varies from person to person and even from loss to loss. As I stated, uh, me losing a coworker does not compare to me losing a relative. Co-worker, I'll be empathetic, sympathetic, but a relative, that's a different type of loss. Um, and whatever your loss is, whatever you're experiencing about that person, it's legitimate and it's worth acknowledging where you are, how you're grieving, no matter what it looks like or how it compares with your expectations or other people's expectations. Okay. No one's on but just me and my daughter, so I think I'm gonna cut this one kind of short tonight. But even within that, I did a little research and it said that there's 10 normal types of grief. Normal grief. It says normal grief is in the name, doesn't mean this is the right or only way to grieve. It's simply a clinical term for the natural grieving process many people experience after a significant loss. It typically includes a range of emotions: sadness, anger, guilt, or even relief. Yes, you can have relief in your grief. When you've seen someone suffer, when my mom and my husband both passed from cancer, they suffered. And I thanked God when He called His children home. I did. I did. And it wasn't because I was glad to see them go. I was happy to know that they were no longer going to be suffering in what they were going through. While it can be intense, it gradually softens over time as you adjust to life after loss. That's normal grief. Then there's anticipatory grief, which is grief happens before a loss actually occurs. And that's true. And I said that earlier. It comes when someone close to you is diagnosed, like with a terminal illness. It can also show up before the upcoming loss, meaning if you get a diagnosis for something and the doctor tells you you have this amount of time um, to live, and you hear that news, we instantly start grieving. That's just the human side of us. We instantly start grieving, but it can also come in things such as a divorce, as I said, a child leaving home for college, moving off. I know when my oldest daughter got married and she had her first baby, and his job took them to some little town down there by Houston. I cannot think of it, but baby, let me tell you, Honey, when he came after he went down there and got their home situated, and he came back to pick up Taylor and King, I could still remember the morning that they left. The sun hadn't even come up. Oh, I cried so hard because I was like, oh my God, my baby, she's gonna need me. She just had her first baby, and I'm not there. Who's gonna help her? I was grieving the thought of my baby being gone from home. She's alive, but her not being there for me to physically see, physically touch, that was a loss for me. That was hard. When they left home going, all of them went off to college. Every last one of them. And when they left, I grieved. I did. I was happy because they were going on, fulfilling things that they wanted to fulfill in their life. But I was sad. There was a loss for me. Also, a job. You can grieve a job, but it's coming to an end. Uh, those that may be getting ready to retire. My plan is to retire in the next 5 years. I don't care what it looks like or what other people think. You know that my hey, I'll be 60, 61. Yup, and I'm pretty sure waking up because my dad, when he retired from the city, he would get up every morning like he was going to work at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Just getting up, trying to find something to do. And it's not a bad loss. It's just that's not a tangible thing for that individual anymore. They have to get used to something else. Um, then it says a complicated grief, and it's now they use a clinical term called prolonged grief disorder, and this is what happens when grief doesn't follow its natural course. Rather than gradually easing over time, it stays intense and consuming. And I know somebody that actually went through that. Yep, grieve themselves. And to me, I think it's when you grieve yourself to death. You miss somebody so much that you grieve yourself to death. I had a friend, their grandfather passed. Um, the grandmother received the phone call. She passed the same day, grieved herself to death. That's how I look at it. To me, that's a complicated grief. Um, it could be a chronic grief, a delayed grief, exaggerated grief, or a mass grief. And I think I experienced that with my mom. It says it's someone that develops physical or psychological symptoms without connecting them to their loss. I think I did that with my mom. Disenfranchised grief. This type of grief isn't openly acknowledged or socially recognized. It often affects people who are mourning losses that others don't fully validate, such as the death of a pet. Yeah, when our dog died, he got ran over in the front of the house. Shaka. Grieved him like he was a human. We loved him. Some people can be like, how you gonna cry over a dog? When I married Tony, he had a dog, Bear. Bear died from cancer. Uh, that hurt my husband so bad. He grieved that dog like it was one of our children. Honestly, he really did. Because he had him since he was like 2 days old. The end of a friendship, a miscarriage. People can and will grieve a miscarriage, especially when they know they're about to be a parent. I don't know about men, but I know with women, when we hear that we're pregnant, most of us, I would say 98% of us instantly start connecting, thinking about, getting excited about this person that we're carrying inside of us. So yes, you can grieve a miscarriage, the end of a friendship, a complicated relationship. I mean, you can look at that so many different type of ways. Boyfriend, girlfriend, uh, side piece, however you want to look at it. If it's complicated, if it was a relationship for you and then you put some time and effort into it and you lose it, yeah, it can hurt. Yeah, we ain't gonna knock nobody out the box. Everybody, go through some type of grief. Even when the pain is just as real as any other loss. The lack of external recognition can make disenfranchised grief feel isolating. Collective grief. It's a shared grief that happens across a community, group, or society in response to a common loss. Um, hey, when Kobe passed, I don't care. Even racist people were mourning his death. So that's a collective grief. A person that was loved by a community, a group, a culture of people. That's a collective grief. Traumatic grief. This grief occurs when the loss happens suddenly, violently, or under circumstances that are shocking or deeply distressing, such as an accident, a suicide, a homicide, or an unexpected death with no warning. And I believe a lot of us have experienced that. To look at somebody one day, well, I'm not going to even say one day. I could be talking to somebody at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. By 9 o'clock that night, I can get word that they're gone. They're no longer here with us. That's traumatic. And the first thing our brain does is, damn, how that happened? I just talked to them. We all do it. I just seen him. I just talked to him. And even some of us, we get so outlandish. We post stuff on the internet, trying to make folks think that, okay, you had a relationship with him, but whatever y'all said in text, that's private to me. I ain't trying to jump off the topic. Why we got to know that you had a conversation with him? Why? I mean, huh? Okay. Anyway, I digress and get back to what I'm saying. But yeah, a traumatic death, traumatic grief is it's hard to move through in any type of way. And it's to me, I think anyone that experiences that type of grief should definitely reach out for some type of support, therapeutic help, because that's when you're expecting someone to go. That's one thing, but to lose someone like without notice or no reasoning, that's a lot. Cumulative grief. Um, This happens when multiple losses pile up before you've had a chance to fully process each one. Back to back grief. You lose your homeboy, you lose your dog, then your girlfriend die, then your cousin pass. I mean, all within the same month or weeks. Yeah, that's a lot. Delayed grief. This happens when the emotional response to loss is postponed, sometimes for months or even years. I did that with my mom. This generally happens when someone needs to stay functional in the immediate aftermath of a loss to manage logistics, support others, or simply survive. That was me, and I still suffer with delayed grief. Delayed grief. I'm still suffering with that. Mass grief, when someone is grieving but doesn't recognize the connection between their symptoms and their loss. Instead of emotional distress, it tends to show up as physical complaints like chronic headaches, fatigue, or digestive issues, or as behavioral changes that seem unrelated on the surface. Yep, that happens. Yeah, we can grieve ourselves sick. We could grieve ourselves to migraines simply because we don't want to ask anyone for help. Simply because we feel ashamed that if we reach out, we may be looked down upon. So what? So what? If you need the help, you get the help. And we all know our help comes from the Lord. And sometimes He may direct us. He gave these people these gifts and talents. He did that. So who are we to tell somebody, no, you got the soul to depend on the Lord? And we do. But when he's giving gifts and talents to people to help us navigate through, are we to shun those people? Are we to shun those people that need that help? Are we to shun the people in our community that reach out for help so they can be better? Nope, I don't believe we should. And that's me thinking that. I may not be right, but for me, I'm right. For me and mine, yeah. Absent grief. When someone shows no outward signs of grief following a significant loss, distinguishing genuine resilience from suppression, guilt, or emotional blunt is difficult. It's all appear as a lack of overt emotional expression. This to me is uh and we got people, we all got people like this in our family. Something happens, um, they don't cry, they don't show no, type of emotions. You they just straight faced, and some would think, man, they didn't give a damn about Granny. No, that's not it. That's just how they deal with it, and it comes back to us being taught as children. Don't you cry, especially for our black men. Don't you cry. You stop that crying. You better not show no emotions. They make you look like a punk. Don't you do that, and that is so silly and stupid. I taught our son, me and my husband both taught our son, no, you show your emotions. Whatever you're going through, if you want to cry, you cry. That don't make you less of a man because you're crying. No, that's harmful to you. You will never be the man that you're fully supposed to be with holding that type of grief and emotion on inside. Let that shit out. It's nothing wrong with men crying. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm gonna go ahead and end this early. I just want to say, regardless of the type of grief a person is dealing with, and y'all, this is coming from the heart. There's no shortcut through it. No shortcut at all. Take your time, but within taking your time, don't let it take you. If that makes sense, don't let it take you. Uh, everyone so needed. Everyone shares. We're more alike than we are different in this world. Um, we all hurt. We all cry. We all feel pain. We all grieve. We all suffer tremendous losses. Um, but at the end of the day, if you're not there for yourself, you can't be there for anyone else. You're no good to anyone else if you haven't been good to yourself. Because this shit is going to come up and it's going to come out. And it's going to be more detrimental to you and those that love you than anything. Because eventually it has to come out. And we're gonna shift that anger and that pain, that grief, we're gonna shift it to those that are closer to us. And then it becomes a generational curse at that time. We just pass it down from generation to generation to generation until somebody says, I'm not gonna go through this. I saw how it was for my grandfather. It didn't work for him. It didn't work for my mom. It didn't work for her siblings. It didn't work for my siblings. It ain't working for my nieces and nephews. I'm not gonna suffer in that. I'm gonna come out of that. And that's my prayer for everybody, even for myself. Um, just sit in it, deal with it, talk it out, go see somebody, talk to the Lord. That's number one. If you don't know the Lord for yourself, and I'm not on here trying to tell somebody what to do, that you'll get to them when you need them. You'll get there. Trust me when I tell you, you will. But He can do it. He can do it. He is the author and the illustrator of it all. He knew the life and the loss that we would have before our parents got together. He knew it. It's already planned out. We just got to get in alignment with him. Once you get in alignment with him and surrender and give it to him, when I say give it to him, take your hands off of it. Watch how he work. Stand back and just watch him work, y'all. I promise you. Stand back and watch him work. Because I know without a shadow of a doubt, he got me in mind. I would have never thought I'd be this functional 6 months down the road. But by the grace of God, he bringing your girl through. And everything that's attached to me, they coming with me. So again, it is only 46 minutes into the show. All that tuned in, that didn't tune in, hey, I love y'all. I thank y'all for even just giving your girl this chance. Because again, I was trying to talk myself out of it. That's what the enemy do when you talk too much about. Well, hey sister, thank you. I love you. That's what the enemy does. When you start running your mouth, and the enemy pays attention. So sometimes it's just best to whatever God is giving you, you keep it to yourself. And you just let your light shine. Because today was hard for me. I really tried to talk myself out of this. I was like, I don't need to be doing this. Ain't nobody gonna listen. Don't nobody care. Lies I tell myself. So again, thank y'all for tuning in to All They Damn Mamas. This is my second podcast. And when I tell you I am loving it, so I will see y'all next week. Same time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Same channel, YouTube. And again, I appreciate everyone. I love y'all with everything that's in me. Y'all have a blessed and peaceful night. Love on your people and let them love on you. And I'm out. Have a good evening.